you miss us?
Welcome back to Skate Date.
Skate Date.
Did you even notice we were gone?
We were gone for a week, but don't worry, everybody, we're back.
Welcome to Skate Date. Skate Date is a podcast brought to you by two little roller skaters who fell in love and decided that since they can't have a baby, that they would have a podcast.
It's a little morbid, don't you think?
Just a sign of our times, 2021. And unless you're a rich queer person, it's kind of hard.
Then podcast is the only fun you get. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. I'm Rebel.
And I'm Shove.
And together we are...
Shovel.
Can you dig it?
Wow. Oh my gosh, so sorry that we were not here last week.
Yeah, I broke my leg, so that's why we weren't here.
Yeah, she found out that day, and then she was like, it's fine, I'll just hobble to the garage. I was like, no, you're literally not going down the stairs. I'm gonna go do a podcast. It's not that important.
I was a mess. And that was after 2 weeks of being a mess, but then it was a confirmed mess. And so it was just mascara tears and...
Part 3.
Yeah, it was a mess. Anyway, so we didn't record a skate date up. And then I tried to record it the next day, and Jeff was like, you need to stop. Because I was sick the next day, too. Anyways, so...
She was like, I'm a doer. I do things. No broken bones gonna keep me down.
Yeah, and so anyways, so she won that argument, but... That's okay because we're back now and we are super excited for this week's.
Guess who's back? Shovel's back.
Back again.
Tell a friend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we're back. So a little exciting thing about this episode, but also a little... There are a lot of exciting things about this episode, but there is also a trigger warning that we wanted to give you. In this episode, we're going to talk about street harassment. So we'll be talking about sexual assault, light sexual assault, and also just sexual street harassment and verbal harassment.
I'm thrown off when you said it's going to be exciting.
No, I know. That's what I was excited that we're talking about this in the episode.
Oh, okay.
But then I was but it's not exciting. This trigger warning is not exciting. We have exciting things planned for you, but also I forgot, but we needed to do a trigger warning before we got to the exciting things.
Yuppers. Trigger warning for talk on street harassment, verbal sexual assault, and
people following other people,
and flashers.
Now that we got past the introduction, I hear a rumor that we have a little ad diddly dad ad.
Daddy, is that you?
A zaddy ad.
A zaddy
Oh
ad.
my god, we should call them zaddy ads.
Zaddy ads. Oh my gosh,
okay.
I love that.
Okay, so we have a zaddy ad. So here we go.
Fat Femme Fatale.
Ooh, what's that?
Fat Femme Fatale is not only a great alliteration created by Courtney Shove, but it is my baby, my real baby. Podcast is the adopted baby that I kind of love too, but Fat Femme Fatale, I birthed it from my soul. I sell art prints, stickers, and new to the shop is clothing. It is drop ship. So I might not be able to give you my personal touching little writing in there, but it is still made with love by some company afar, and they will drop ship it to you. And I have a new design that I call the Fat People Can. And the whole point of the Fat People Can is that I had a sticker that kind of started this all that said Fat Girls Can.
It really did start everything.
I loved it. It was a little crappy drawing of myself. It was me learning how to use Procreate. And I created this amazing design of me in a bikini. And it said Fat Girls Can. I found it very empowering. The thing is, gender norms and everything just, it rubs me the wrong way. And it's I am so for female empowerment. And I'm a riot girl till I die. But I like to think of all of my creations as femmes, not necessarily male, female. They could be non-binary. You don't know. And I want everyone to feel comfortable wearing my stuff. So I created the Fat People Can shirt. And it's kind of like that anti-social club.
It really is. It's got that dope, font.
And these shirts, unlike my other shirts, are tri-blends. They're super lightweight. They're going to be the perfect.
They're so soft.
Right? I was like, shook when these came. I was like, ooh, I love the other ones too, but the other ones are a little more heavy duty. And these ones are super light and airy.
Like, literally, she bought me a sweatshirt, and now I'm like, dang it, I wish I had a shirt. Because it's so soft.
And this one comes in the white font and rainbow. And it says, fat girls, gays, and theys can.
So cute.
And then in the front corner, it says Fat Femme Fatale. So you can rep the brand.
Rep it up.
Make all feel comfortable in the skate park and wherever else you're skating. They'll just be like, hey, they're down
with the gays, theys, and the girls, and the fatties.
Exactly. So, yeah, you can get that at www.fatfemmefatale.com.
Wow. I loved that. What a cool little business. Never heard of it until today.
Wow.
So new. No, but seriously, though, I love your new design, babe. I think it looks so good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you can get that today if you use code SKATEDATE. Then we'll know you found out about it via SkateDate.
There is no code. What?
Sorry, I just wanted to add a code to it really quick. That would be fun.
No. The profit margin's very small on dropship as it is. I have sales on everything else, but on the clothing, I'm barely making any.
Me too.
All right.
Oh, man.
I think it's time we get the party started and we jump right into the real world.
Oh, we're talking about street harassment today, babe.
Yay.
Yeah, no, I know. But, like, this is really important. Like, this is such an important topic. I'm really glad we're talking about it today. We honestly had a whole other episode planned, and we pushed that off to next week because we think that this is so important to talk about.
Yes. I myself, I was like, oh, that trigger warning is probably very important because I was highly triggered this weekend myself. I had something happen to me that we'll talk about later in the real world. So stay tuned for that. So right now in the real world, we're just going to talk about what street harassment is, who it happens to, all that jazz.
Yeah, so what is street harassment, babe?
Being harassed on the street.
Wow.
On the sidewalk. Anywhere in public. Catcalled. Getting glared at. It could go on to the whole kind of encompasses many things. Is it verbal? Are they recording you and following you, stalking you? Are they groping you? Are they flashing you?
There's any of those things. Street harassment.
So many things.
So many ways that you can be street harassed.
Uninvited sexual
attention. Yes. And yeah, and especially a lot of street harassment, it goes beyond that first moment of like being catcalled. It's like you've been denied and then they keep pushing. Not to say that that first catcall isn't annoying, but for me, I think that the most like part that bothers me is when you're like, no, thank you though. And then they're like, that I don't care, I'm gonna follow you anyways.
There's just like a whole thing though. It's like, by no means are we like, we're like man-hating queer women that are like, like, yeah, fuck patriarchy. But
yeah, the patriarchy.
We're not like, how dare you flirt with me? Like, we're not saying like, no cis man could go up to a femme appearing person and be like, hey, like, you're cute. What's your name? Can I get your number? Like, that, like, yeah, sometimes we're like, we're not in the mood, but we're not saying like, oh, that makes you an asshole and that's street harassment.
What we're talking about is many things, but one, when you're saying things that are like jeering and inappropriate, right? So you're like commenting on our body in a way that's like not like totally uncalled for, or telling us to do something like to smile, or like being lewd or crude, or anything that we're like, no. And then you're like, don't care. And then you keep going. So I know that that's a lot, but street harassment is a lot. Did you watch that video? It came out a few years ago of that girl who was walking through downtown New York, and it like counted the amount of times that someone like catcalled or harassed her.
Yeah, she got followed for a few blocks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why they made that video, right?
Because it happens all the time?
No, they made that video because in New York there was a girl at a bus stop and a guy asked for her number and she declined to give the number and turned him down.
Oh, I remember this story.
And so
now.
he shot her and she died.
Yeah. So, serious.
That's just constantly, like, since I can remember, like, being in middle school in a uniform in middle school, like, obviously underage, and having, like, a guy yell at me from across the street and, like, hey, beautiful, hey, what's up? Like, you look cute. Oh, you look so good, blah, blah. And me, like, ignoring them and be like, no, thank you. And them just being like, well, you ugly ass, blah, blah. And it flips so fast and it can be so scary.
It is really scary. I used to start yelling at people, I'm 11, you freak. Even when I was like 16.
No, it just sucks. It's scary. I think, like, not luckily, but sometimes, like, I feel like some people know, like, how dangerous their situations can be. Like, they can see that, sense that, and they know, like, to keep a distance. But sometimes it's just, like, you don't know what to do. Like, some people don't, like, feel like the safe thing is to just go with it. And some people are strong like you and just yell back. And I think a lot of times we're just shook. Like, we're in that moment. It's like the shock. We're too shook to do anything. And it's just like you brush it off. And then when you get home, you're like, I should have freaking yelled. I should have cursed them out. I should have, like, screamed at the top of my lungs so that, like, everyone would look. But it's always just, like, this weird feeling. I feel like, I know for me anyways, I feel ashamed when it happens. Like, I feel like all of a sudden, like, I did something wrong, like I deserved it, when it's literally just my body. Like, it's just that I happen to be born female, so, like, they were born male, and, like, society taught us these things where now we're supposed to just be like, well, boys will be boys, and this is what happens, and it's just like,
yeah, I mean, it's totally just society's trash that they're putting onto you. But I do think that in that moment it's fight or flight, and I think that some people, like, have the reaction to just seize up, and then other people are like, no, phew, like, get out of my face. And for me, like, most of the time when I'm in that moment, I have zero fear. Like, I'm like, no, I go ahead and try and hurt me because I will hurt you back. But, like, that's because no one's ever... No, actually, that's a total lie. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I just have so much rage from things that have happened to me. I think that's why. I'm like, go ahead. The worst thing that could have happened to me has already happened to me, and I know how to survive that. So, which is, like, so dark, but...
I tend to dissociate from it. A lot of times, like, I just act like I don't hear it, and I literally just turn it out and just go about my day. Like, I think subconsciously I pick it all up later, and, like, it's, like, definitely comes out in other ways. But I only it's usually when someone else, like, if I'm with someone and it happens to them, right off the bat, I will curse someone out. I've literally shoulder checked someone, like, physical altercations, people. Like, my mama bird comes out and I'm like, you don't with my friends, you don't fuck with my partner.
Me
like,
too.
Then it's a thing. But when people do it to me, I'm just like, la 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 la. Like, as long as you don't touch me, I'm just like, tune it out and pretend it's not happening. It's really easy for me. But that's the trauma that I've dealt with, was always just like, just pretend it's not happening and then just keep going. So that's unfortunately my coping mechanism, unless I am drunk. And then if you tell me the wrong thing, I will stand there and read you like the puny little sorry excuse for a man that you are.
Oh my gosh, I definitely am the person who will bait people to myself if I see it happening to someone else. Like, I'll be like, yo, come talk to me. And then I will destroy them. And people get mad at me, people being Shove, for putting myself in precarious situations. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like I could fight them.
And I'm always like, have you ever been in a fight? She's like, no, but I could fight someone. I'm like,
I almost got into a fight in a subway one time. over this exact situation. I forgot about that until just now. Yeah, some guy was hitting on my friend, and then I was like, yo, oh, no, he was hitting on me. I was like, yo, not interested. Turned to my friend who was next to me, started hitting on my friend using the same lines. I was like, yo, she's not interested. Are you kidding me right now? And then I was like, you need to leave her alone. Sorry, you're going to have to edit all of these F words out. But, like, you need to leave her alone. And he was like, or what? And I was like, or I'll punch you. I will literally make you leave this whole Subway. Subway the sandwich shop, not Subway like a place with trains. Oh, anyways, so that was a tangent. But who does street harassment happen to mostly?
Primarily to female presenting, or I should say femme presenting people. It does happen to men too. And I think it's like the silent thing. There's like more shame attached to when it happens to men, especially cis men. I think like it's something that doesn't get spoken of, and I'm sure like a lot of them won't speak up on it. So I think like when it comes to statistics and things, like it will be lower. With everyone, to be honest, not everyone wants to talk about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are stats. But I don't buy them. And the reason why I don't buy them is because I can't even tell you the number of times I've been harassed on the street and I haven't said a damn thing about it, you know?
Yeah, and I didn't ask, every single person,
Yeah, and while they're doing, a sample, a general sample or whatever, I don't know, you're only taking a general sample from certain areas and certain life experiences. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that street harassment happens to femme-presenting humans and people who are trans and people who are non-binary. I think that it happens more often than not to those people. Mm-hmm. And I think that it does happen to cis men sometimes, but the ratio is so much higher because men are just typically in a position of power and are told by society that that's the way that they should act. And so that's why it happens more often to people who are not cis men.
Yeah. We looked up a study done by UC San Diego, and they compiled some random numbers that we'll give you. So don't get confused. Basically, you'll notice it almost kind of doubles when, of course, they stuck to women and men for this study. So sorry. But we have 81% women experience sexual harassment in their lives, while 43% of men experience sexual harassment in their lives. And we're going to cover a few things mainly.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I don't know. I think it's saying something like that, making the statement, 81% of women or femme-presenting humans experience sexual harassment in their life. That is an out-of-control number. There is no way that 81% of people should be experiencing something like that.
And I'm shocked that it's not higher because I have not met one femme-presenting person in my life that has never experienced some form of sexual harassment.
That is very true. I agree. I'm surprised the number isn't 99%.
And that's why I'm yeah, you didn't talk to everyone, though. And, some people don't, talk about things. They're just not there.
Yeah. And I do think that it's gotten worse as time has gone on. And I don't know. Okay, so then this study broke it up into a few different sections. And we picked a couple sections to talk about. The first one is verbal harassment. And 76% of women reported that they had experienced verbal harassment. So that would be catcalling or lewd comments or any sort of unwanted sexual come on or approach. And 35% of men said that they had experienced verbal harassment. The next one is people being followed. Women reported that 27% of the women that they surveyed had experienced being physically followed, and 11% of men. And then the final one that we wanted to bring attention to is flashing, undesired flashing of genitalia. And 30% of the women surveyed had experienced this, and 12% of men surveyed had experienced this. That's a lot.
And also, just so you know, like, we don't mean like 100% of that 76% of women, like, it happened by a man. Like, women and feminine identifying people and non-binary people can also be guilty of sexual
Literally
harassment.
Everyone can be guilty of sexual harassment.
Everyone. So we just wanted to drop that in there too, because I wasn't sure if we acknowledged that. But I just want to say the first time I ever saw a penis was because a man followed me in a van as I was walking to school in 9th grade. And every time there was a driveway, he would block the sidewalk, pull into the driveway, and kept saying, "Como te llamas?" and was jerking off and just making weird sounds at me. And he just kept doing it for about 3 blocks. And that was my first time seeing it. Not the first time being assaulted, but that was my first time, like, seeing a man's penis. And I was like, that's great. And it happened to me again in my early 20s. I was hungover. I used to live in Santa Ana. And there was a 7-Eleven, like, downstairs. So I went downstairs across the street, got a Slurpee, because that's what I did when I was hungover. I'm standing at the corner, and it was super jarring, and I was super, I guess, like, relieved that it happened to at least me, who was in their early 20s, because high school up the street had just gotten out. And high schoolers are walking all around, but I'm standing at this corner alone. And this guy, I just kind of, like, look, and he's in a little pickup truck. His pants are pulled down, and he's just jerking it, looking at me. And I literally just stood there and looked forward and pretended like I didn't see it. And I was just drinking my Slurpee, and I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me again. Like, are you kidding me? And I just went home, and I was like, why? Why does this keep happening? Like, I don't get it. So, like, definitely I feel like when it comes to this list, like, I personally feel like this is interesting because, like, I've had all these happen to me, and I've had them all happen multiple times to me. And a lot of times I'm like, is it really that bad, or am I just, like, really bad luck?
I think that it is really that bad, and you have really bad luck, because I've put myself in, like, quite a few dangerous situations because I've had these things happen to me, and I've had a lot of them happen to me in different countries. And most of the time I will turn around and say something which I'm aware puts me in, like, a very scary situation. And I don't ever think about it until afterwards. And then I get home and I'm, like, freaked out and, like, cry or whatever the hell, whatever reaction I need to have. But, yeah, like, I can remember distinctly many situations in which I have been followed in places that I do not know, and I'm, like, panicked because I'm trying to find my way back to my hotel or whatever place I'm at, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep walking and hope that I find my way home. And this happens a lot, I think. Not just, I mean, it's hard because we're not really thinking about this because the world isn't open, but, like, it happens a lot at bars. And, like,
yeah,
just because people are drunk, like, doesn't mean, or drinking or anything like that, or in that scenario, that doesn't mean that they, like, want you to keep hitting on you when you said no.
It's okay. Like, what I'm gonna say, I know it's problematic, and I'm gonna say it anyways, because maybe someone's gonna be like, I kind of see it that way too. When I'm at a bar or a club and it happens, it's almost like I know it's gonna happen. So we already know, like, we're putting on our makeup, we're getting ready, we're in good vibes, but we already know in the back of our head, someone's gonna fuck us tonight. Like, there's gonna be a moment, something's gonna happen, it's there, we're ready for it, we know, like, there's gonna be a creep that's gonna, like, press up on us on the dance floor, we're gonna brush them away, all our friends are gonna be like, get the way.
That's
we kind of
true.
know that.
That's very
But
true.
when we're getting ready and we're gonna go to the grocery store, we're walking to the liquor store, walking our dog, we're just, like, out and about, we're at work, we're getting coffee on these random areas, we're not fully expecting it. And I think that's why it's so much worse, and that's why, like, we're more likely to be slightly more empowered and be like, get the away from me when it's a night scene and we're somewhere where we know there's alcohol, drugs, and like that kind of scene where people are going to hook up. So they're already going with like a sexually charged like energy in the air. So I think we're like, oh, we know like there's increased chances of this, so we're more alert.
Yeah, I totally can see that. I agree with that because I think that I can't imagine expecting to go to a bar and not expecting to be sexually harassed. And that the fact that I was thinking that just now is just like mind blowing. But I think I don't know. I feel like for me, I expect it all the time now because I feel like it's always going to happen. Like, I feel like if I leave my house looking even kind of good, someone is going to harass me. And that's horrible. Like, I shouldn't feel that way, you know?
Dave Chappelle made a joke where, I wish I could remember exactly word for word, but he was trying to, like, explain to men how a woman feels, which, of course, like, no man can, like, 100% know, but it was still a really good, joke, not even a joke, but a thing he said. He said that, like, imagine if you were a man and you're walking around with a backpack and it's on you and you have like thousands of dollars just in cash in that backpack and it's strapped to you and everyone knows you have this backpack full of all this money and you're just walking around, you're on the bus and you're all alone and everyone's just looking at you because they know you got something that they want, and that's how a woman feels.
That's so true. That is really good. Yeah, I think that that's really a great way of putting it. What do you think about people who say, like, oh, you're wearing a crop top, or oh, you're wearing short shorts, or oh, you're out alone, like, you're asking for it?
I think it's bullshit because I've been harassed looking straight busted with some baggy pants on, a baggy t-shirt, no makeup, bags under my eyes, nappy ass hair, and still getting hit on.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I just feel like for me, it's hard to even imagine a world in which that doesn't happen. You know, like, it's just kind of like, oh, I guess that's just the normal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter if you're drunk or not. It shouldn't matter. But then we have Brock Turner walking around living his good life. Who knows doing what?
There's just no accountability. And, like, I don't know, who's going to hold people accountable? Like, there's no one to hold people accountable. And don't come at me with the cops are going to stop them because they literally will not. Like, coming from someone...
They'll make a report.
Yeah, like, they will make a report, and, like, a lot of times they won't even make a report because there's not enough information and there's not evidence.
Like, this isn't Law and Order. There's a whole, like, sex SUV, like...
SVU.
Like, yeah, SVU. Ice-T's not over here being like, oh, he followed you? And then he called you what? Oh, we're gonna get him. Like, no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Literally, both of us have been hardcore sexually assaulted multiple times, and, like, the police don't care.
Man.
Like, they don't do anything.
Yeah, it's hard to find, like...
Color me jaded, but...
Oh my gosh. There's a lot out there. I've had bad experiences with the cops. I've been harassed by the cops, so it's just like... okay, let's not even, this is not an ACAB episode, I won't even get into it, but trust me, like, someone's even messaged me that their cop friend they literally told them about something that happened to me, and they were just like, yeah, there's nothing you can do, there was no crime, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's just me feeling helpless and in a dangerous situation, okay.
Yeah, like, I've literally had someone threaten my life, and the cops were like, oh, well, maybe you should move. That's what they told me, maybe you should move.
Yep.
Someone followed you to your house. Maybe you should move. LOL. Okay. Anyways, any closing thoughts about the real world?
Stay strong. I mean, if you have a child, teach them. Teach them what's wrong. Teach them what's right. Like, teach them how to respect people. Don't just teach your little girls that they can't wear certain things and that they have to be careful and that they shouldn't be alone and all this stuff. Like, teach those little boys that like to respect people, to respect everyone, and that they'll be responsible, and also like the same thing that they should be strong in who they are, but not, I don't know, it's just like so much like it has to start when they're young, and I think it's just like a flawed, like I know other things go into it, like not everyone has two parents and they have it hard, and like trauma breeds trauma. Like a lot of people I think that go out there and do sexually harass people, like probably had it happen to them, like obviously something went wrong, and I feel bad for them because something's not right in their head and something's not right in their soul.
Yeah, I mean, and there's definitely like this whole culture that's like, oh, you have to assert your dominance to be a man, or like to be, you know, good enough, or to show you have power or whatever, and like we have to destroy that part of the gender binary, and two, the like societal structures, patriarchy, and that starts with like one-on-one, like helping people.
Hopefully it's getting better each generation.
Hopefully.
All right.
Sorry, that's kind of like not a high note that we left that on, but we have more to talk about in the next one, so we're just gonna move on over to the wheel world.
Alright, welcome to the Wheel World, where we talk about life in wheels.
Wheels. Sorry, I was going to say more of the same stuff, but on wheels.
She's really excited. Alright, we're still talking about street harassment, but it's a little different. Like things, just this in the skate community.
It's like amplified.
It is amplified because we already know, like, as skaters,
people look at us.
We have a spotlight.
We're interesting.
Yeah, and
it's like a roller skater.
Like
a roller skater.
Yeah, like you're walking down the street, someone might be like, "Oh, cute outfit," when they're close, but when you're skating by, people are screaming like, "Yeah, I get it. You look awesome." Blah blah blah. All this stuff.
Like we already attract attention just by being roller skaters, and then that means that the street harassment is like times. It's like exponential.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, when you have all those eyes and you have people saying all these like words of positivity, and you already feel powerful and like super in your body and great, you kind of have these illusions of grandeur. You think you're untouchable, you're invincible. It's your happy place. It's supposed to be your safe place. But then remember that even in the real world, the real world still exists. And with all those compliments that get shouted, so do all those negative verbal sexual harassment comments.
Yeah, it's almost like all the positivity like paints a target on your back. And people who are throwing negative darts are like, aha, a target. I like it.
Yeah, one of my first drawings I did for a print that says, "My skates are not consent." And it kind of goes in line with like the CIB, not here to flirt. Because when you do go to the skate park, like, of course, like, all these guys think, like, ooh, a chick.
People out here being like, roller skates are my kink.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It feels like already I have to worry about what I'm wearing, but now my roller skates are, like, inviting people in to talk to me and be a little too handsy and too close, and, like, nah.
People feel all kinds of, like, welcome to you and your body and who you are when you're on roller skates. It's like they think that because you're on roller skates, you have to talk to them. Like you're some sort of, I don't know, beacon for them.
It's like you're a street performer.
Yeah.
It's very like, oh, can I take a picture with you? And like, it's not even, we're not talking about like, oh, like, well, y'all have thousands of followers, that's why people want to take pictures. We're talking about people that aren't skaters, don't know who we are, that are like, oh, take a picture with us, just literally because we have skates on.
Literally because we have skates on.
And so, like, people, and, like, sometimes it's cool and it's fine, but then sometimes they get a little too handsy, or I get told, like, oh, damn, girl, you got a lot of ass to be on those skates. Like, I get that a lot, that one.
I have had several people put their hands, like, low on my back when they were like, oh, take a picture with me. And I'm like, oh, I'll take a picture with you, but, like, don't touch me. And then they put their hands on me anyways. I've had that happen to me many times.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like you want to... I saw something interesting where it was like, oh, it sucks because, like, it's hard to get, like, skates, especially if, like, you don't have, like, customs or tennis shoes, like, to just pop them off and, like, run away. And then other people are like, well, you're lucky you're in skates because you can skate away fast. And that's what I do. Like, I'll be kind of cruising, but as soon as, like, a car pulls up and, like, everyone's hanging out the window saying, like, disgusting things to me, I just book it. I start just going super fast. And then, of course, I get yelled at, like, damn, that girl can get it. Like, blah, blah, she's going fast. And I'm just like, okay, at least now they're saying, like, oh, I'm shook at how athletic she is versus, like, damn, girl, look at that body. You thick. Like, you know, and it's just like, shut up. I already turned you down.
I definitely feel like there are more people that like harass me when I'm on skates that are in cars than when I'm walking. So like when I'm walking or just on my feet in some way or another, it's like occasionally someone in a car will hit on me. But when I'm on my skates, I swear to God, it's so many people in cars. And I'm just like, what in the what?
And again, like, part of me is like, oh, sometimes I wish I had my, like, AirPods in and, like, tune them out. But then, one, you shouldn't because you need safety from, like, vehicles going around. But two, like, as much as I want to drown out these sexual comments that I don't want, I also need to be aware.
Like, because cars will slow down and they will just, like, creep next to you for a long time. Yep. You're like, you're holding up traffic at this point.
And then they'll have their, yesterday there were 2 people recording that I at least saw. And my friend Helu, even, like, the first one was like, said something and I didn't know what she was saying. I turned and I was like, oh, that guy's recording. She's like, yeah, just don't look. And I'm just like, it's annoying. Like, I shouldn't have to just ignore it. Like, how, like, you're just, what are you going to do with this video? That's what creeps me out, is, like, knowing that these creepy guys have video of me, that they were just, like, driving behind me, slowly recording me, like, and it's disgusting to think about what they're going to be doing with that image, with those images later.
Yeah, we get recorded all the time.
Yeah, and you can tell when it's just people that are like, oh my God, like, this is cool, like, how fun, and, like, you can tell when someone has, like, this, you can tell by their face, like, we know,
and
like,
their vibe, like,
yeah, they don't talk to us, they're just, like, you're not even gonna say anything, you're just gonna pull your phone out, and then, like, have this, like, pensive look, like, it's just cringe, but I had a friend, Honey, that I remember when we first were early on skating, she had skated before me, so she was already, like, street skating more than me, and she had to call me. Unfortunately, I didn't have a car at the time, but she had to hide in a Taco Bell because she was being followed. So she was, like, skating, and the same thing like Rebel was saying, like, this car was going slow, and he keeps, like, asking for her number, asking for her name, then just stops talking and just follows her. It's, like, going, like, 2 miles per hour. And she's hustling. And then she finally realizes, like, this guy's not going to stop. So she had to, like, skate into a Taco Bell and just sit there and hide out. And then she, like, called me to talk to me and, like, to make sure she was safe until the guy left. But it's, like, those are things that happen. Like, it sucks. And it's scary.
Yeah, it's really scary. And it's just, like, we pick roller skating because roller skating is something that empowers us. Right? Like, it empowers us to be who we are, to allow us to wear whatever we want, because the community is so encouraging for you to just own your power and your strength and your ability and your body and your identity and everything on skates. And it feels like, you know, skating is this magical thing. And yet with it comes this, like, horrible negative attention sometimes that I feel like we don't talk about enough, you know, like, we're always talking about, like, oh, positive, oh, we feel great, oh, we love skating, and, like, yes, that is very, very true, but also, like, we need to talk about how all these people are, like, feel entitled to our bodies just because we're on skates.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about what happened to me yesterday, as in Saturday. All right, so first of all, like, if you don't follow me on Instagram and you haven't seen, I got a big old booty, and I always joke that my ass is like a blessing and a curse. And, like, even when I was much skinnier, I was never actually, like, a very thin person, but I've always had a butt that was just very big for my body, and it gets a lot of unwanted attention, unfortunately. So I feel like when I skate a lot, it's amplified even more. So whenever I have a friend that skates with me, they always say the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, like, did he just say that? But by like the fifth time a random man like says something sexual towards me, they're just like, don't even comment on it. They're just like, I'm sorry. And for me, it's just like, it's fine. And I try to just say like, oh, I don't even care. I block it out. But it's still annoying. Like, I still hear it. And it happens every time I skate in public, which is like another reason why like I don't go out and skate as much as I used to. And I think with COVID and not going to like the beach path and skating downtown, like I forgot how bad it was. And yesterday I skated 6 miles and was thrown back in very harshly into the cruel, cruel world that is sexual harassment. And I had like a guy record me. The first guy recorded me that I talked about already. People just yelling things and giving me looks, the typical construction workers, whatever. And I was skating with my friend Healy. And we made it all the way downtown. And Healy was like, I already worked out today. I can't do it. Like, I don't skate distances and I don't skate fast like you. Like, we should just call an Uber to go back. And I was like, I really just want to skate. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to get an Uber because of COVID. And she was like, oh, just call my husband. And I was like, okay. But then I was like, well, how far away is he? And she was like, oh, 30 minutes. And I felt really antsy. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel it's a good day. Like, I feel really good right now. Like, I think I'm just going to skate back. And she's like, are you sure? Like, you should just wait. And I'm like, I don't know, I really want to skate. And she was like, well, you just told me that your therapist said that when you really want to do something, you should just do it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Stupid. Okay, so anyways, so I freaking put my music back on. I have one of my favorite playlists like bumping. And I'm skating back. And I'm just trying to tune it out. Same thing, like some guys are just saying things here and there. And I'm just like, whatever, just keep going. Like, have my tunnel vision. And I take my first break because I'm like hustling. I'm like skating fast and I'm like, oh, my slow friend's not with me. Cool. And and it's like on Broadway and Falcon if you're in Long Beach, you know, it's like right there in the neighborhood. And I sit down and I have my like back to the street and there was like a guy in his car and he's like, hey, can I get your number? And I was like, no. And he just looked at me and I was just like, I'm just going to ignore him, whatever. And then it sucked because he was still sitting there watching me and I like went to get my phone out and I dropped my ID. I'm like, great. So I'm like crawling on the ground, purposely making sure my ass is not towards him because I'm like already creeped out. Pick it up, turn my back to him, and he drives away. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm just going to keep going again. And so like I'm hustling again. I make it to Cherry Park or Bixby Park, sorry, and I'm on the corner of now like Cherry and Broadway, and a car goes, so I have to go to the side, so that made my attention go more onto the cars. I look to my left, like behind me, and I see that it's that same guy that asked for my number, and I'm like, that's weird, but now he has his phone out and he's recording me. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird because he's in a car and he should have been like way far gone already. Like, has he been following me? Like, that's kind of like, I don't know. I was just like, what the fuck? So I like dodged through a one-way street so that way he couldn't follow me. And I went through the park and I was like, okay, I think I'm good. And then it was like peaceful, like no one honking at me, no one saying anything. I had like one lady like talked to me through a car window and was like, yeah, like you get it. And like I was like, cool, some like positive affirmations, really need that right now. And I'm getting to Juniper Hill and that's like my favorite hill. Like everyone knows like that's where I get like my peace of mind. It had been a long time since I skated it, so I was like, hell yeah. So literally going down that hill, totally forgot about the creepy guy, any experience. I just like washed through because like skating has that power to kind of like give you that feeling of flying and you're like, okay, reset, like you're good, like that adrenaline of like rushing down that hill. So I get to the bottom of the hill and I go to my car and I'm just like hanging out, and then like my friend finally is like, oh, I'm barely coming like back or whatever, and so she comes down and we're hanging out for like maybe an hour at the beach. Like we go to this little vendor, we go to this lemonade stand, she's in her shoes, I'm in my skates, I'm just like skating around, and like the beach parking lot is packed. There's so many people like just everywhere. Like Luckily, it was easy to social distance, but the parking lot was like full because it had like Yoga at the Bluff and other stuff, whatever. So you can't really tell like who's who's around. There's like groups of people hanging out in their cars, on their trunks, like whatever. And it was like a perfect day. And me and Healy like sit in the back of my trunk. We're talking, hanging out for a bit. She takes off and I'm sitting in my car and I'm like, oh, I might as well edit these little clips I took right now. So I'm there for like another 5 or 10 minutes and I get up, I go in my car, and literally as soon as I start my ignition, I see a car go behind me and I'm like, okay, like whatever. And then I'm like, wait, it's not moving. So I look back and it's that same fucking guy that asked for my number and also like was recording me. So at this point I'm like freaked out because I'm like, I've been down here for like an hour and it's been a total of like maybe 2 hours since I first saw him. Like, this is fucking crazy. Like, what's happening? Like, has he been watching me the whole time? Like, this can't be a coincidence. And like, so I'm sitting there and just staring, and then he's staring, he's like smiling and he's like lipping something. And I had that moment of like I should have just honked my horn like a maniac, but I was just like, what do I do? Do I jump out of my car and like bash his car? Like, what should I do? Like, I just felt trapped. And then I remembered like a TikTok of all things where this girl was at a skate park and she was like, saw a guy recording her, so she grabbed her phone to record, and then he got all like scared. So I grabbed my phone from the auxiliary cord and then I started recording him, and then as soon as he saw the camera, he like took off. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like shook because I was like, if I leave this parking lot, is he gonna follow me home? Like, it's already been too long. Like, I'm worried now. And so I called Rebel and I was just like, I need you to be on the phone with me until I get out of this parking lot to make sure I'm not being followed. And she was working. So then I called my other friend, and like, when I knew I was clear, I was like, okay, cool. But it was just terrifying. And then like after that, I went on Instagram Live and just cried like a little because I was like, all of a sudden it like triggered all this other stuff because it's like, dang, I'm 34, like I'm still getting followed, I'm still having the scary stuff happen to me because like I've had it all happen before, and it's just like so tiring, like how many times. And luckily from that video I was able to get his license plate and his face, and I posted it on Instagram, and thank God I have such a huge following because through doing that and through other people like posting things and like Crime Watch Facebook things, we were able to get his Facebook, his Instagram, found out like who he is. And even his mom actually reached out to my friend's husband and was like, I apologize for my son's actions. Like, please tell your wife and your wife's friend, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm a single mother. He should have known better. Like, he knows better than this. So at least I know, like, that was comforting in a way. Like, I hope some good comes out of it. I hope that she, like, beats out of him. Like, yeah. But yeah, it was just, it's like terrifying. It was just like not cool. And like, I thought it was okay because I was skating fast and getting away and trying to dodge and doing the best I could. But if someone's in a car, they're faster, they're gonna be able to do it. But yeah, it kind of like wrecked my weekend and it sucks, but it happened. And I'm so grateful for the skate community. Everyone shared the post and getting able to get a lot of that information out there.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of messages of people like telling me what happened to them in skates, like some in the same parking lot as me or other places. It was creepy because people were like, did he drive this car? Because this guy was following me when I was skating. And I was like, dang, how many people are getting followed while they're skating? Like, and I'm like, oh, it sucks. Mm-hmm. And it's just something we need to talk about. It happens and it's scary. And like, especially if you're a new skater, like you can't just skate away really fast and like dodge into a street. Like, that's terrifying. You might not be able to sit there and unlace your skates. Like, hopefully you can bash your head in with it, but it's just like,
yeah, it's scary.
It can be scary.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this next part, we're going to switch around the sections and we're going to do Dear Shovel next, because I feel like this Dear Shovel will bring us a little bit of conclusion into the entirety of the discussion that we've been having. Is that okay with you, babe?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move into Dear Shovel. All right. Dear Shovel. In the Dear Shovel section, we ask you, our listeners, our viewers, to send in questions about anything. And I thought that this question was really fitting for today's episode because I think it will wrap up this whole discussion about street harassment. And we've been talking about a lot of things that are negative and are happening and, you know, are not solved. And so if you ever have a question, you can always send us your question about literally anything to dearskatedate@gmail.com, and you can be completely anonymous as this person is. And so let's just jump right into it. Dear Shovel, I heard Shov's story about being followed, and it got me thinking about all the times I've experienced harassment on my skates. What do you think I should do/get to protect myself? Love, a scared femme who just wants to skate. So I think that there are some tangible things that we can get to protect ourselves. I think that it's a good idea to have some sort of pepper spray or mace, or like, I carry around a taser. I straight up carry around a taser everywhere I go. The only time I'm not carrying around a taser is when I fly somewhere because I can't take it on an airplane.
I used to carry pepper spray and a knife with me everywhere. And I remember the first time my mom told me, she was like, you spray and then you stab. You blind them, you stab them, and then you run away. I was like, holy shit.
But like, seriously though.
But my pepper spray expired. I never bought a new one. And then I have my knife. It's literally, I can see it. It's like stabbed into a table right there. Like, maybe I need to start carrying it again, but like a lot of times I get nervous because I'm just like, I don't need to get pulled over as a black woman and have like any sort of weapon on me. It's just not
That's very true.
Worth it. And these are the things that I just have to think about, which sucks. But I definitely someone, Jen, she sent me this thing called like a birdie, and it like lights up super bright, so at nighttime it can like blind someone. It's so bright, and also alert people around you. It brings attention, but I guess it like chirps like really, really, really loud, so it also, it's kind of like, you know, like the idea of like a rape whistle, but it's like super small. You just break it off your keychain, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to get something like that.
I mean, there are also those things that you put on your keychain. I mean, there's the old, like, bunch of keys trick, but there's also things that are, like, basically brass knuckles that you put on your keychain.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think I want something super loud, and I would like pepper. I like the idea of pepper spray because you can be far away from them.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea, too.
But here's the, like, things you should do. First of all, it's always the number one thing that we should do no matter what. It's always be aware of your surroundings. Mm-hmm. That's why I was so shook, because, like, I'm usually always paranoid anyway, so I'm constantly looking around. But it was just so crowded that it was hard to, like, know if someone's sitting in their car staring at you. Like, I saw a lot of people sitting in their car staring at me, and it was like, whatever, but I didn't see that guy. Like, it would have, like, I already saw him twice before that. Like, I would have recognized the car or him, but I just couldn't tell. There's too many people. But always just be aware of your surroundings. Don't
sorry, go ahead.
Don't like have loud, I carry a speaker, but I don't wear headphones because I want to be able to hear other things going on as well.
Whenever I'm walking or skating in the dark, I'm never on my phone.
Yep.
Never. Because it just takes you away from whatever is going on, and especially in the dark, who knows what could be around any corner.
Yes. Also, what happened to me happened in the middle of the day. It was like 2 p.m. on a bright day, and there are people around. So, with that being said, if you're at nighttime, have some sort of light. Don't maybe have like some kind of light color on so people can see you, because as many times as someone bad can see you, someone good can see you too. But yeah, and you want to stay away from like alleyways. Like, don't take like, oh, this shortcut, this dark like alleyway, like that has no real exit except for all the way down on the other side. Like, don't put yourself in a place that you can be easily trapped, because we gotta remember, like, sex trafficking is also a very huge thing in our country right now.
Very real, yeah.
So that goes with surroundings too. At nighttime is a whole nother thing. Like, I don't want to say you can't go alone. You should be able to skate alone. But maybe also
have your location on. have someone you know have your location at all times. Yeah. Like, you should always have at least one person who has your location, whether that's like they just have it on so they can find you via their phone at all times, or you tell someone like, hey, I'm going on a skate tonight. I'm just going to send you my location for the next couple hours because I just want someone to know where I'm at.
And as soon as you start feeling creeped out when you're skating, like, hey, that car kind of has been following me, or like it circled the block for like the 4th time when I'm skating like in this tennis court, call a friend.
Yes.
We all have that one friend, and if you don't know, you probably have them and you just don't know that they're a real good friend. Like, everyone has that person that they can call and be like, hey, even if you're at work right now, I just need you to have the phone on, like put it somewhere and just hear me. So the whole point of calling that friend is that they just need to be able to hear something happens. And also, if you're on the phone actively talking to someone, that could steer someone away. Because then that's like, oh no, like someone else is going to hear what's happening and then more likely to call for help right away. So that's another reason why that can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're driving and you're being followed, like let's say you're skating and you're like, oh, that person was creeping me out, let me get in my car. And you notice they're following you, as someone whose first boyfriend was a stalker for like 5 years and has had other people stalk them, because like I said, I had really bad luck when it comes to crazy men. What you're going to do is make sure you're looking back, not just at the car behind you, but you're looking at least 4 cars back in each lane right behind you and the one over. You also want to, not necessarily if it's a neighborhood you don't know, because you don't want to end up in like a dead end or a roundabout, but you are going to take smaller streets and just take multiple turns, a left here, a right there, because once you're in a smaller street, it's easier to see if someone's following you. And it's very unlikely for someone to take 3 turns in a row. That's the same turns you took that are very sporadic turns. If that happens, like I said again, you should be on the phone as soon as you notice or have a feeling that you might be getting followed. Just have them on the phone just in case this person is crazy enough to have a gun or crazy enough that it's 2 cars and they're about to block you in. I know you're probably thinking, this is insane, this isn't a movie, this happens daily to people. So I'm just saying this goes with being aware of your surroundings and being the most careful. Once you go in that neighborhood, you notice that this person's for sure following you, go back onto the major roads. That way, at least there's more people around if something goes wrong. If you feel safe, like you're like, hey, police is what I need to do, go ahead and call the cops, because at least if you know he's following you in the action, maybe the cops can find you. But to be honest, how long does it take for cops to come? A very long time.
Yeah, so I was told to drive to like the police station.
Exactly. So then you could just go to a police station. You can go to a fire station.
Because they just won't go there. They won't follow you there.
Yeah.
Like, even if the police or they won't do anything for you, the person who's following you will not go there.
Exactly. So just whatever you do, just don't drive home. Don't drive to a friend's house. Like, you want to go somewhere where that's crowded. You want to go to a police department. You want to go to a fire department. Somewhere where like they'll be like, nope, and they'll disappear. And then if you need to call for help, you can. But that's usually like my go-to when things like that happen.
Yeah, me too.
I hate that that's happened so many times. But yes, it's scary. Yeah.
But yeah, those are our suggestions. I hope that you found some value in that. I hope that doesn't resonate with you, but I'm sure that it does. And I hope that we can somehow change our society and make it so that this doesn't happen to future generations.
Yeah. We know this is a hard episode because we know a huge part of our audience is female and non-binary. And we know something like this, one of these things we've talked about has definitely happened to you. And we're sorry. We're all into this together, and it sucks to be in this club together.
It does suck.
And I wish that there could be like a magic wand that just took it all away and that we made it stop forever and that like evil people didn't exist in the world, but they do. But we have more good days than bad. And when these things happen, we just remember that it will affect us, but it doesn't define us. And it might put a crack in us, but it doesn't break us. So we just gotta keep on going. Gotta keep on rolling.
That's what the community is here for, to support each other and to have each other's backs. We love you. We support you. We believe you. and we will have you back you're back in any situation that you need us to.
Everyone just needs to start a skate gang when COVID's over. And
right?
We're all going to, like, just jump fools on our skates. And it's going to be amazing. We're all going to pepper spray at once.
Speaking of skate gangs, should we find someone their skate date?
Let's roll into a good section.
Not that the other sections weren't good, but, like... This is our fave because it's the newest.
Well, I mean, good vibes, because the other ones were real vibes, intense. So now let's do something fun. Let's do find a skate date.
Yeah, Find Your Skate Date is a segment where we find one of you. Well, you present yourselves to us, and we will do a little ad for you to help you find your skate date. A skate date is what?
When you said we won't find you, I was like, imagine if we were just started doing ads for people. We're like,
just like
this skater looks lonely. This skater messaged me and said they were sad, so I'm going to do an ad for them.
We help you to find your skate date. A skate date is someone platonic, someone romantic, a BFF, anyone that you would like to go on a skate date with. We're trying to find you skate friends in your area. So check out our most recent skate date. Also, if you would like to have us help you find a skate date, then you can email us at dearskatedate@gmail.com with your name, your @ a little bio, and a picture. And we'll talk about you on the Skate Date podcast. We'll also post you on our Skate Date Instagram at skatedatepod. All right, take it away, babe.
All right. Here's a bit about me and my skating journey. I really hope there's someone out there for me, with a little big eye emoji. I'm a 26-year-old female from Seattle and just moved to San Diego a few months ago. I don't have any friends down here, and because of the pandemic, it's been pretty hard finding anyone to connect with, even though the skate community is so tight down here. I've been skating since last May and feel super comfy on my skates / can usually trek anywhere, but still eat shit on the reg. Don't worry, I wear knee pads. I'm really into distance skating for a good workout, cruise skating for fun, and always make time for trying tricks and dance moves. Music I bump includes old disco faves. Ooh. I'm gonna mispronounce a bunch of these, sorry. Roy Ayers, Patrice Rushen, the Jones Girls, etc. Or R&B, Jaquez. That's the one I'm like, wait, that's definitely not how you say it. Genuine. I love me some Genuine. Erica. Ooh, Badu. The only Erica worth mentioning, right? Etc. Or, I added that last part, but you know. City pop or deep house or reggae. Anything with a good bass line that I can get down to. I love that you are like eclectic with the music taste, because that's like so good. My playlists are all over the place, so I get what you mean. All right. She also says, I'll hype anyone up and love learning new moves with people. I'm super inclusive and really laid back. I work in the space industry. Ooh, another
space person.
Another rocket skater. I wish they lived in the same state.
I know, right? We're just going to connect to as many people as we can.
I work in the space industry, so I'm a total nerd, and I love true crime and makeup. Oh my god, do you watch Bailey? You got to.
You got to.
Of course you do.
I'm sure you do already.
Okay, do you know who my new skate bae is?
Oh my god.
All right, and their IG handle is at Naygrave. That's Naygrave.
At Naygrave. Hit at Naygrave up if you are her new skate bae in San Diego.
Skate baes are awesome.
Amazing. I really hope you find your skate bae because you sound dope.
Babe, did you know we messed up?
What did we mess up?
Should we have like dressed up all Valentine's Day?
Is this week Valentine's Day?
Well, we're not gonna have enough.
Crap, it is!
It doesn't feel like Valentine's Day. Even though I did a Valentine's Day lookbook today, I'm just like,
It's because we're depressed.
Depression.
Okay,
depression.
but I feel like we could put out a Valentine's Day looks next Wednesday, even though it's technically after Valentine's Day because it's still like the week of.
I heard that after Valentine's Day, the only holiday that exists is your birthday.
That is true. So I guess we should all dress like Rebel next week.
Which also looks like Valentine's Day. Cause it's a lot
So
of
it
editing.
works.
Oh my gosh. Do we have any Apple podcast reviews?
Yes, we do.
Ooh.
We have a Apple podcast from a bee.
A bee?
A bee.
I've never been stung by a bee.
No, not like BEE, like and the letter B
Ooh.
with 5 exclamation points.
So it's like a bee.
Yeah. Okay, so a bee says, initially began listening because I was interested in hearing their thoughts on all, quote, real world matters, but quickly learned that I could listen to them talk for hours, and I have, LOL, about anything. The two of them make an amazing pair. Candid, hilarious, compassionate, thoughtful, and real. And it really feels like you're part of the conversation with them. The show is divided into clear and creative segments, and they do a great job of making difficult topics feel accessible. I am so excited for the future of this podcast, and Def suggests that everyone give it a listen. Aww, a bee!
That was cute.
That made my heart do a little jump.
I needed that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Abby. And if you would like to leave an Apple Podcast review, we would be so grateful. If you leave 5 stars and leave a little comment, then we will shout you out on our podcast.
And if you don't have Apple Podcasts, we don't know what you can do besides please subscribe to our YouTube. You don't have to watch it. Just subscribe to it. It helps us. And you could even just follow us on Instagram. That's a cute way to let us know that you support us.
Yeah, def. And if you wanted to support, like, our podcast, we have these skate date patches that are really dope in our Etsy. Our Etsy is called On a Skate Date. And we have these holographic skate date patches that you can get, and any patch
stickers.
that you, and a sticker, and anything that you buy from that Etsy shop goes to help support us, pay for these microphones that we bought a few months ago.
We're still in the hole.
Expensive
COVID hobby.
It's very expensive COVID hobby, but that's okay. It's fine.
We went from 0 to 100 real quick.
We really did. We went so hardcore. Okay. Well, that was a fun skate date.
It ended on a good note. Sorry, y'all. I'm still recovering. I can't say it was a fun skate date, but I hope that somebody learned something and felt relatable this episode.
I do agree. I did say that it was exciting in the beginning, and then I said it was fun at the end, but I don't actually agree with that sentiment.
I didn't cry, and that was exciting. I came close a few times, so it ended on a good note.
Yeah, and I'm on lots of pain pills, so I'm good.
Anyways,
we love you.
Just because we're saddies, we're still baddies, so I hope we see you next week for a skate date.
Yeah!